Okay, so back to Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit says, first of all, it shows that reality isn't what you have always thought it was, and you aren't who you have always thought you are, meaning the world is not truth and Regina is not truth. It also shows that you are connected with your brother even at the level of ego, and we saw that. There's only one dreamer of the dream. There is literally a shared ego, not 6 billion different egos, and that was very clear within the diagram. And so I said, can we talk about that a bit more? And Holy Spirit said, ego exists at the level of mind. Individual subconscious and individual consciousness are not at the level of mind. So obviously Holy Spirit is using the word mind here differently than what we might think of as an individual thinking mind. He's actually using the word mind differently. And in fact, I would say the best way to define the word mind here would be oneness, a oneness awareness, a shared awareness, a oneness. So that's how the word mind is being used in this particular paragraph. Ego exists at the level of mind, or a shared oneness awareness. Individual subconscious and individual consciousness are not at the level of mind, or shared oneness awareness. Those levels are merely a projection of thoughts, which then creates the thinking mind. The thinking mind is a projection of shared mind. The mind is literally projecting these thoughts and then experiencing them as if it is within the thought. But as we have seen in the diagram, the level of mind is a different level and not within the thoughts that it projects. The thoughts projected by the ego are like receiver and transmitter thoughts. They allow the ego to experience its own thoughts without being contained within them, just as a dreamer experiences a dream without actually being in the dream. And I said, okay, please continue with how this is helpful to us in our healing. And Holy Spirit says, this diagram depicts reality as all-encompassing, and it depicts the ego as a small blip of error thought within reality. It shows that the error is focused on itself and has lost touch with reality, but that reality continues unencumbered by the error. You can see from this depiction that when the error is undone, it will just disappear, and reality will never have been affected, not even for an instant. This depicts illusion as illusion and completely unnecessary to truth, which means that it also shows that you do not need to hold on to illusion unless it is your choice to do so. In other words, you are free. And I'm giggling at my reaction here. Notice what I wrote. Ah, yes, I see it. And now we are back to simplicity, aren't we? I mean, I something obviously clicked for me during this writing. I saw for the first time something, and I don't have the specific memory of what it was that clicked for me on that day, but what we are looking at here is a shift. A shift occurred within my mind that day. Of course, there have been many, many shifts since then, but this is how we come to see differently. And I think maybe what I want to talk about is what happened at the very beginning of the message. Remember, at the very beginning of the message, Holy Spirit said, understanding never comes from words. Understanding or clarity comes from your willingness to receive and understand. Please give me your willingness now. And I can assure you I did that. And so what's happened is Holy Spirit's going through this symbol, Holy Spirit's going through these words. But what really happened is because I gave my willingness for clarity, a shift occurred through this description. Something clicked in my mind, and I saw simplicity in all of this. And I don't remember exactly what that something was that day, but maybe as we keep reading, we will see. So let's continue. Holy Spirit says, yes. Okay, yes. So Holy Spirit, I'm sure, is answering my thought. Yes, the Holy Spirit is your bridge through the dream, from the dream to reality. Your way out of illusion is to deny the voice of delusion and to listen to the voice that speaks for truth. So that must have been what I saw, which sounds very simple to me now. But that must have been what I saw. I must have got it at that moment in a very deep way, that the only thing I had to do, like I didn't have to do anything else, the only thing I had to do was discern between ego and Holy Spirit in my mind, choose not to listen to the ego, and choose to listen to Holy Spirit. And if I just did that one thing, that would lead me to awakening. And for me, that was simple. That's why I said, yes, I see it. And now we are back to simplicity, aren't we? In other words, I don't even have to understand this diagram. I don't have to know anything about these different levels of subconscious. I don't have to pass a test on the different levels of subconscious. The only thing I have to do is learn the difference between ego and Holy Spirit in my own mind. Not listen to or follow ego. Yes, listen to and follow Holy Spirit. And Holy Spirit will lead me out even if I don't know anything else. If I can just learn that one thing and practice that one thing, I will awaken. And that for me was really good news. So Holy Spirit says, yes, the Holy Spirit is your bridge through the dream, from the dream to reality. Your way out of illusion is to deny the voice of delusion and to listen to the voice that speaks for truth. And I said, the body is nothing but a communication device into the mind. And the Holy Spirit said, exactly. And when I said the body is nothing but a communication device into the mind, that actually was a pretty serious shift for me. I do remember that. At the beginning of this message, Holy Spirit told me that who I think I am and the world that I think I see is pure illusion. And I told you I didn't like that level. That still made me nervous. What we're looking at here now at the end of this message, so a definite shift has occurred in my mind in the time it took to write this message. What we are seeing at the bottom of this message here is that I am accepting now. I am giving my acceptance that who I think I am, Regina, which I'm referring to as the body here, is not my reality. My reality is back at that shared mind level. And anything that Regina seems to learn, to accept, to practice, all that is doing is talking to our one shared mind. All that is doing is waking up at that level that was called the ego, or the second level of subconscious, or the dreamer of the dream. All that is doing is talking back to that level and healing there. Because remember, Holy Spirit said healing can only actually occur at that level of ego. And so I'm realizing that there is no individual that's waking up. This is the shift that occurred for me in this message. It's actually pretty powerful. There is no individual that is waking up. But the seeming individual is being used to awaken the mind that is beyond the individual. And that's a pretty powerful shift. So, and again, I don't remember who it was that asked me to ask this question, but